I got an education from a private university. I see several minorities here, black people here who are at the same school you are. How are we more racist now? If we were more racist now, they wouldn't be here. They would be bussed off somewhere else in Compton.
Different types of racism.
Nah, that's an insane thing to say.
Are we more racist than we were in the Civil Rights Movement?
I think so.
That's preposterous. Who believes we're less racist now than the Civil Rights Movement?
Yes. But
What's up, guys? It's Mike Lusso. We're here at Cal Poly Pomona, and we're talking to people about if Donald Trump is racist. So I don't believe he's racist, and a lot of people believe he is, so we're just talking about it. Make sure you watch James Klug's video on this. He did it first. I'll put a link to that in the description. Thanks, guys, for watching. What's your opinion? Getting people's public opinion.
Ooh, I'm gonna move. Okay, yeah. Give my damn opinion.
So Trump is not a racist. Do you agree with that statement, or do you disagree?
I disagree.
Why so?
Because he uses his power to oppress people of color, and he doesn't give a about nobody.
Can you give me examples?
He's rude. The things he's put in place, like the wall, to the comments he made on immigrants, like how Hispanics or Mexicans are like rapists. He said that.
Did he say all Mexicans are rapists, or did you just say that there's?
It doesn't matter, but it's not his place to say who's a rapist or who's not. He should be saying that as president. He needs to be impeached. Trump.
Do you believe he's a racist?
I don't know. And I think it's fair to say that because the media on both sides kind of pushes their own idea on us, and there's not really any non-biased sources to kind of see what he says. I've never really looked at a full speech, so I've kind of just heard what people said, but from what people say, then I think, yeah. But why do you think he's not?
So I don't believe he's a racist. I've heard him speak like 3 times. I've been to the White House. He's invited like 400 plus young black leaders to the White House. He's addressed them several times. He's had Hispanics, minorities there all the time. The media rarely covers it. So like you're saying, there's a media bias on both sides. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
I'm just asking you, disagree? So you believe he is a racist?
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Because I think he's racist because of just everything he stood for. Even way back the interview he had for the Central Park 5, like even back then he was saying stuff about black people. I think he's probably like what's the dude name?
And here's the thing. If you think Donald Trump is a racist, because that's a big thing to call someone, you're a racist. I would say actually have reasons why you're calling him a racist. And that's actually why I kind of respect her answer. Because if you have real life things that he did or said, like, yeah, this is racist, then okay. But I've noticed a lot of people do not have real reasons why they consider him racist. They consider him racist because he's Donald Trump, which is not a reason. There has to be something you've done or said to be like, yeah, you a racist. But I hope y'all enjoy this video. This is going to be a good one. And I'll see you guys later on.
Hitler.
So you're equating him to Hitler?
I would, yeah.
Trump, why?
Racist ass.
How? Give me an example of him being racist.
Stuff that he says.
Says or does?
Does too. Says that Mexicans are criminals, all that stuff.
That's not an action, though.
That's saying, though. He's saying that Mexicans are criminals and all that stuff.
Did you say all Mexicans are criminals, or is he just saying that crime comes from Mexico?
I think he said all of them too, because he also disrespected the president too of Mexico, and he's pretty highly regarded.
So he never said all Mexicans are rapists. So are you Hispanic or Mexican?
Yes.
Okay. You have family in Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you're probably aware of, crime that goes on in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware that 90% of all heroin comes from the southern border?
Yes.
1,000 kids are sex trafficked a year from the southern border.
Mm-hmm.
80% of Central American women are raped coming across the southern border.
Yep.
So based on those things, do you think the southern border is safe and secure?
No, it's not.
So then what's the problem with Trump saying that?
Because I say it's not just Mexico that has all these problems too.
Of course, no one's arguing.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's not just Mexico, but it's the southern border that's attached to America. So when you start saying, well, it's not just Mexico, other places have these issues, no place is really attached to America like Mexico is. Well, Canada, but it's Canada. So I would think it would make sense to speak about the southern border because it's just so close to America. You get what I'm saying? There are issues all around the world, but those issues directly impact the country. And if you are running for president, or you are the president, or any type of politician, I would hope you would care about things that are that closely related to us, you know? Especially when you're bringing kids, sex trafficking them into a country, or you're bringing heroin into a country. Yeah, I would think that's important.
I don't know, just the way that he treats them or says about them. I don't really like how he says it. So.
I agree with you that he could probably say it better, but does that take away from the fact that those things are still happening? Children are still being sex trafficked. So whether or not Trump is saying it nationally, shouldn't we still do something about it?
Well, I'll say that's Mexico's problem. That wouldn't be really U.S.
Oh, of course.
So
yeah, it's Mexico's problem. And Mexico, would you agree that Mexico's doing something? Do you think Mexico's doing a good job?
Nah, they're not.
So you agree with Trump on those things. So if you agree with Trump on those things, how do you believe that he's racist? Where did that come from?
The way he is, I don't know, he's Caucasian. So he's saying just stuff about other races.
Isn't it racist to believe that someone is racist just because of the color of their skin? Because he's white, it means he's racist. If Obama was the deporter in chief, he deported more Hispanics, Mexicans than any other president. Was Obama racist? So why is Obama not racist, but Trump is racist?
The way he carries himself?
Are we more racist than we were in the civil rights movement?
I think so.
That's preposterous.
I think
First of all, I am an African American individual. I can walk in there in that Starbucks. No one's gonna protest me. How? I'm not gonna be lynched.
We're still more racist.
I got an education from a private university. There are people, I see several minorities here, black people here who are at the same school you are. How are we more racist now? If we were more racist now, they wouldn't be here. They would be bussed off somewhere else in Compton.
Different types of racism.
Nah, that's an insane thing to say. That's insane. That's an insane thing to say. Not only is it inaccurate, extremely inaccurate, it is disrespectful and it's harmful. I don't even know how you can offend me. I don't even know how you just did that. You confused and offended me at the same time. It was you're very impressive. And I've noticed that a lot of super left-wing liberals tend to do that a lot. Not only are you extremely disrespectful, you're confusing, and you're... This is sad. I don't even know why I have to keep doing this. America is not more racist now than it was during the civil rights. Yes, I'm black and I'm saying that. I think that's just common sense. You can go outside and see that.
Obviously not the same amount of like,
if it's worse,
lynched or whatnot.
But if it's worse...
I didn't say we still have the same amount of the same level of racism that we had
asked if we were more racist.
No, it's just we still have this. We have not progressed when we should have.
We have not progressed.
We have not.
She doesn't speak for me. I feel like we're definitely less racist than we were during the Civil War.
Who believes we're less racist now than the civil rights movement?
Yes. But
right?
Okay, so I'm gonna just say most presidents probably did some effed up stuff that they shouldn't have, but Trump is just blatantly disrespectful with it. And he walks around with privileges if nobody can check him on it. Whatever Obama did, ain't nobody know. Okay? Everybody do their dirt, but he moved in a very classy way that Trump refuses to do. So if you're gonna be on your bullshit, be a racist or be prejudiced, don't do that and be the president.
But why is it okay for Obama? Because he was classy about it. So Obama,
be classy about your bullshit. If you're doing something, be classy about it. Don't.
So
let the whole world know.
Obama bombing other countries.
We gotta bomb countries. As a president, you gonna bomb and make decisions.
He bombed Doctors Without Borders. He attacked several countries for no reason. But because Obama was eloquent, he got a pass.
Yep.
We're in the dying breath of racism. That's why it's speaking louder than it ever is. We're in the when something's about to die, it will scream the loudest. And we're at the point where it is screaming the loudest. And the smaller groups are becoming smaller and more radical. Yeah. And that's why we think it's everywhere, but at the same time, it's dying. And when things start to die, again, it screams.
Do you think, okay, let's talk about the standards of race. Do you think that there has to be a very specific standard to make a person a racist? Do you think we're too lax on we just call everyone a racist for whatever?
I don't think we're just calling him a racist just because. I think he makes it known like...
But what has he done? What has he done specifically? Because he can say things that are questionable. I agree with you on that. Right. And you can be prejudiced, you can be discriminatory. But to actually be racist... Wouldn't you have to do certain things? Like Hitler, what did he do? He killed 6 million Jews. He targeted minorities specifically with policies.
Right. I guess it is something to think about. And yeah, maybe what he says is different from how he thinks.
I mean, Trump is not. I mean, there's specific things like his actual tweets or things he's recorded and said, like on the news.
What has he done though?
What has he done?
I mean, something that he has done specifically.
I mean, being a racist doesn't mean you have to have specifically done something yourself. But I know the most recent thing I've heard was the thing where he compared something to like a lynching or something.
And it's always interesting when I hear this. Like they can't name things Donald Trump has done. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Majority of people who do not understand anything about politics in general, walking around, they don't. Let's be honest. You're watching this channel, so you probably do have an interest in politics, but majority of people do not. But how come they don't hold other people to the same standard, such as Joe Biden? Joe Biden has said he doesn't want his white children, by the way, to go to a racial jungle gym of a school and be bused there. That's what Joe Biden said. That is literal racism. I don't even think it can get any more racist than that. I would actually argue that that's creative racism. That's an extremely creative way to represent racism. Joe Biden said that. But how come no one says anything? No one cares that he did it. They only care if it's someone that they oppose. Which begs the question, do you hate racism or do you hate Donald Trump? I would hope you hate racism and are an advocate against racism, but it just seems people aren't advocate against Trump and are, they just using things to go against him. But maybe I'm wrong. I hope someone can prove me wrong. Let's continue.
Yeah, he used lynching as a metaphor. Yeah, I don't think it was accurate metaphor.
I think it was probably.
I think so. When it comes to words are up to interpretation.
True.
When it comes to language, I don't know if you've ever taken like a linguistics class. Yeah. They teach you that people hear things differently and people interpret things differently. So when it comes to rhetoric and things he says, are they questionable? Is it debatable? Can we have conversations about it? Sure, yes, I agree on that. But can we determine without a doubt that he is in fact racist? We can't do that based on just his rhetoric. We have to look at his actions.
He's figuring since most of supposed crime is from people that come from Mexico, that...
Well, it's not just crime. It is over 100,000, not 100,000, over 1,000 girls are put into sex trafficking through the southern border.
Right.
90% of all heroin comes from the southern border. 80% of Central American women are raped coming across the southern border. Coyotes, who are Mexicans and Central Americans, take advantage of little girls and people coming across the border because they know they're desperate. Most of the families, you talk about family separation, most of the families who were there, the kids weren't even their children. It's mixed family. So it's like if you had a family come and you're like this isn't your mom or your dad, this is like a 7-year-old girl, and you know that this girl is probably going to be put in sex trafficking, wouldn't you separate them?
I suppose. Well, why do you think he's not a racist? Just based off of what you said, like how it's not what he says?
Yeah. So I don't believe he's a racist for simple philosophy. I'm not saying that he hasn't said things that are questionable or that are prejudiced or discriminatory. I'm saying to actually be racist, I think you have to have a very specific standard. To be here today?
Yeah, I'm gonna be here today.
Do you agree? Disagree?
I agree. He's not a racist.
He's not a racist? Why so?
Nothing shows that he is racist. People just keep on continuing to say so, but nothing really puts up to show that he is.
What examples have you heard that people say proves he's racist?
Examples that they say that he's racist for? I'm not really sure, honestly. My mother was one of the people who always say that she's racist, saying that doesn't pay his workers because they're Mexican and stuff like that. Like just all anecdotal stuff that they just feel that way. So it's fake. It's all fake.
People always bring up rhetoric, but if you study linguistics, language is up to interpretation. So people hear things differently, people interpret things differently when it comes to rhetoric. So I think when we want to judge our government officials, we have to look at voting records, we have to look at policies, we have to look at things that they specifically put in place and not necessarily things that they've said. So I agree with you. Is his rhetoric questionable? Is it prejudiced and discriminatory? Sure, we can agree on that, but I don't think it's hard, concrete evidence to say that he is in fact racist.
I still say Donald Trump, and that's that. Obama always.
I think. Yeah, so people just have their opinions made up about Donald Trump, and they don't like him, man. I'm gonna be honest, they don't like him. It doesn't matter if he proves himself to not be racist or he proves himself to be racist. People don't mess with him, and this kind of just showed in this last clip. What can you do? But anyways, I'm gonna end the video right here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you later.